Hey, good morning, folks. This is Kumar Gupta. Well, today I'm creating this video so that I can tell you a little bit about the load test. A lot of my students and other people, the other guys, other subscribers of my YouTube channel have been. A couple of them called me up and they asked me, like, how do you build this load test? Okay, we know what is a load test. But in the controller, or maybe from the Jmeter, as a matter of fact, how do you build it actually? Is there a button on the controller wherein you click and automatically the load test will be created? I thought it was straightforward, and once you understand what is a load test, you will be able to create it yourself. But some of them still have this doubt, so I thought probably I'll create a simple video as to how to build this load test on the controller. There's one thing I wanted to tell you to all the guys, who are thinking that there is a button. No, there is no button for a load test or a stress test or a soak test or an endurance test. We don't have buttons. Okay, so the way you build a test, okay, that defines what kind of test it is. So in this video, I'm going to create how to build a load test, but going forward, I'll do it for a stress test and a soak test and a scalability test as well. Okay, so this purpose of the videos, I wanted to set the purpose of the video very straight for you guys. The purpose of the video is not to explain the types of test or not to explain what is a load test, but assuming that you know what is a load test, I will create a load test for you on the controller, making some assumptions. Even though I've assumed, I'll quickly tell you what is a load test, but I wouldn't spend too much time explaining what is a load test, why there should be a load test and all that. Okay, assuming that you know all that, but you don't know how to build it on the controller, I'll go ahead and explain this to you. Okay. To proceed further, to move any further, before that, I would like to tell you that I take this course called Performance Testing Using LoadRunner. Both advanced and basics will be covered as a part of this course. It is it's a extensive training for almost 1.5 months, close to 27 to 30 classes each day, 1.5 hours. Yeah, you can go ahead and register for this course if you wanted. It will, every month there is a batch that would start, and this month it is starting on 29th of this month. Okay, if you're interested, please register. You just call on this number or WhatsApp on this number, or you can do a WhatsApp call or a regular call or a WhatsApp message on this number 801-995-2427, or you could actually send a message, email me. Okay, so you can email me. I'll quickly write down my email address here for you. Here is my email address, guys. kgupta.testingtraining@gmail.com. Okay, so that's my email address, guys. So in case you're not comfortable WhatsApping me or calling me, you can just send out an email on that email address. I'll get back to you. But when you send out, and if you wanted me to contact you, please leave your phone number so that I'll be able to call you up. Okay, with your country code. Coming back, how to build a load test on the controller. Okay, that's the point. So before I get into it, before I get into the load test and start building it, I would like to tell you that there is something called a workload modeling sheet. It would have been already done in your organization. People popularly call it as WLM. Okay, work, load, L stands for load, M stands for modeling. So workload modeling sheet. Okay, maybe your lead would have already done this activity. Okay, so before you create the load test, this is the sheet that you want. Okay, a workload modeling sheet. I've prepared this for our Web Tools application. Here is the business process. Maybe that's your scripts that you create. In simple words, what is the business process? The scripts that you create. Okay, just for our assumptions, I have created 3 scripts. One is book flight script, cancel flight script, and register user script. So typically you create the scripts on your Vusion. Okay, I've created. Don't worry about your TPH here, transactions per hour. This is the one that they give you. Based on it, you will arrive on these numbers. So how based on these numbers, how are we arriving on these concurrent users? Well, it's a different chapter altogether. It's a workload modeling. Okay, as per in my course, I spend like 2 hours explaining what is this workload modeling, and based on these transactions per hour, how do we arrive at this concurrent users and how do we arrive at this pacing is something that I explain. Okay, so again, if you don't have pacing, you can arrive at these concurrent numbers, concurrent users. But if you have the concurrent users, you arrive at this pacing. Okay, so typically this concurrent users and the TPH is what they give you as a part of NFR. So we arrive at this pacing by using this workload modeling, and we arrive at this concurrent users as well. I mean, in a sense, like you break down the total users into the users as per the scripts. Like you said, out of 40, 25 I have given for first script, 10 I have given for second script, 5 I have given for the third script. How we break it down? Okay, this 40 is typically given by your client as a part of NFR, and TPH is typically it will be given by your client as a part of NFR. Then you break it down and then you calculate the pacing. That is the activity of workload modeling. So that's not something that I cover as a part of this video. Okay, so definitely I'll cover as a part of the course because it's a huge subject. It will take a lot of time, so a couple of hours maybe at least. So yeah, coming back to the thing. So assume that you have this and your lead has done the workload modeling and you have the business process and you have the concurrent users and you have the pacing for each of those scripts. So you have this particular sheet with you. Okay, so with this sheet, we'll go ahead and build the load test. We'll go ahead and build the load test on where? On the controller. Okay, but before going that, if some of you people are wondering, at least, you know, I'm looking at this video, at least I had a ballpark idea as to what is this load test, it would have been better. Yes, for them, I've created this slide. Again, I'm not explaining the load test in detail, into it, I mean, spending a lot of time, but just give you a ballpark idea as to what is this load test actually. Okay. So let's say that's your scenario elapsed time. Okay, scenario elapsed time is how long you run the test. Typically, any test will be run for 1 hour. This is a rule of thumb. I mean, any load test will be run for 1 hour. It's a rule of thumb, but I've seen some companies running 1.5 hours as well and 2 hours as well. But I don't see a reason for that. I mean, that's my personal opinion. Definitely, they see some value, and that's why they are running for 1.5 hours or 2 hours. But for me, 1 hour is good enough. Okay. So this is 1 hour is what you will run. Okay, that's a scenario elapsed time. And on the y-axis, you have number of concurrent users, and you have 40 here. How do I know I have 40? From here, from this workload modeling sheet, the total number of users is 40, which you have broken down into 25, 10, and 5 based on this business process or the scripts. So now I have a choice. Let me look at 2 choices, guys. Okay, one is I had all these 40 users up and running right away at the start. Okay, then I run a 1 hour test. This is my 1 hour test. You see, this is scenario elapsed time. So this is my 1 hour test. Okay, so you run for 1 hour. This is the time as to how long your test is running, how long your load test is running. So this is your 1 hour test. And once the 1 hour is done, stop all the 40 users at once. Okay, stop all the users at once. So this is your option 1, guys. This is your option 1. Now I'm going to give you another option. I'm going to throw another option at you. Okay. So what is that option? Instead of starting all the users at once, you slowly started one after another. Like, you know, for 30 seconds, 5 users, 30 seconds, 5 more users, 30 seconds, 5 more users, 30 seconds, 5 more users. So until you got to 40. So instead of starting all of them at once, you took little bit of time. For every 30 seconds, you are starting 5 users, let's assume. So instead of, the line will not be like straightforward now, it will be a little curved line. Okay, so this is what it is. So instead of starting all of them at once, you took little bit of time and then you have started. Okay, then you run your 1 hour test. You are not compromising on that 1 hour. You run your 1 hour test. Okay, then you run your 1 hour test. You are not compromising. Earlier also you have run 1 hour. This time also you are running 1 hour. But earlier there is no ramp up. This time there is a ramp up. By the way, if you are wondering what is the ramp up, yes, this is the ramp up period, guys. This is the ramp up. This is the ramp up. Okay. Now once your test is done, immediately you didn't stop all of them at once. You stop one by one slowly. You know why? What is the hurry? You stop one by one slowly. So that's your option 2. So that's your option 2. Okay, so that's your option 2. So Well, if you are a performance tester, what option you would go for? Option 1 or option 2? I'll give you a little bit of time to think about like what is the option. Option 1 is like immediately starting all of them at once, do your 1 hour test and then stop all of them at once. Option 2 is like, start slowly one by one until got to 40. Then you do your 1 hour test. You're not compromising on that 1 hour test. So you do your 1 hour test. Then instead of stopping all of them at once, you slowly starting one by one. Which one do you recommend? Yes, if you have guessed option 2, yes, option 2 is what people go with. Okay, no wonder. Why? Because you see, let's look at the servers. Okay, we have spent like 3 hours in my course, like probably we have 3 to 4 hours spent on understanding the architecture, understanding the servers, understanding web server, app server, database server, how they behave and all that. Okay, so before this 1 hour, let's say you started this test at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, you started the test at 9 a.m. Okay, now before 9 a.m. let's look at it. On the servers there is no load. You see the number of users are 0. There is no load. And exactly at 9 a.m. you ramped up all the users, which means that all the 40 users have ramped up. These users will not keep quiet, right? They will be sending the request to the server or they are applying the load on the server. Before 9 a.m. there is 0 load. At 9 a.m. suddenly there is a lot of load. Now the servers, there is a chance that they might not behave correctly. They might not behave correctly because before you start the test, there is absolutely no load on the servers. Exactly at 9 a.m. when you started the test, suddenly there is a load of 40 users and the servers, might not behave appropriately or correctly. So there is a transient period wherein, the servers would behave abnormally. So to avoid that situation, what you are doing, there is no load. Then after 9 a.m. slowly you are increasing the load, so that your servers are warmed up. Okay, now once you have reached your 40 users, now you are not compromising on the number of concurrent users. Not compromising on the time of 1 hour. However, you are doing that 1 hour. And once you are done with it, then slowly you are decreasing the load on the servers. So option 2 is the recommended option. Well, you haven't understood what I have told you as to why option 2 is better than option 1, then just forget it. Just go with the assumption that yes, ramp up is required. This is the ramp up period. Then that's the steady state of 1 hour and ramp down is required. If you have understood as to why this ramp up and ramp down is necessary, I would be more than happy. Okay, but definitely if you haven't understood, it's not your capability, just that you don't know what are servers, how their servers behave and all that. So that's the background you need so that you clearly understand why this ramp up is absolutely necessary. Okay, again, to give the background, the servers and all that, what is a server and why there are different kinds of servers. It's a big story altogether. So that's for some other day, I believe. Okay, but do assume that that's an option 2 is what people go with. Okay, option 2 is what people go with. Okay, so now using my controller, I'll build the load test. Watch carefully. So this is my controller, and if you go back and you say new, you always build a manual scenario. Okay, click on OK, and you have 3 tabs: design tab, run tab, and diagnostics of J2EE and .NET. I'll be looking at the design tab because we are designing the load test, not executing the load test as a part of this video. Wonderful, guys. So the first thing that I want you to pay attention is this thing over here. Scenario schedule. Always go with scenario and basic schedule. Always go with scenario and basic schedule. Again, why? We'll be deviating from the topic. Okay. So for this video, just assume that we are going with scenario and basic schedule. Okay. Now, what are the scripts that we are executing the test with? What are the scripts that we are executing the test with? Book flight, cancel flight, and register user. So I'm going to add these 3 scripts here. How do I add it? There are multiple ways. I'm going to show you the easiest way. Each line is for each script. Each line is for each script. So go to the script card and you look at the pull down list, click on that and you just say browse. All my scripts are there on the desktop. So let me go to the desktop. You see LR scripts to the controller. I have these 3 scripts. I can add all the 3 together. Hold the control button. Not control button, shift, I believe. Okay, looks like it's not selecting all of them. Let's go ahead and add one by one. Okay, book flight, and just click on OK. Now book flight script is added and it is clearly showing from where the script path is. No wonder. Wonderful. So now I'm going to go add the second script. Again the same story. Click on browse, add cancel script, click on OK. And the third script I'll try to add it from here. So just click on add, click on browse and click on register, click on this. So I've added 3 scripts. 2 scripts I have added from this from this space here, and the third script I have added from the add group over here. Okay. Now good. Okay, so wonderful. I have all the 3 scripts that I wanted. So far this story is covered. So this story is covered, adding the scripts. Now what is the next thing that I have to do? Add the concurrent users. The book flight is 25 users. So let's go over here. Book flight is 25 users. There is no option called users. If you pay attention, here is the script path, and there is no option called users. There is something called load generators. Okay, so that's a different story. Okay, so here we have percentages. There is a reason why we have percentages here. So go to scenario and you say convert scenario to users mode. Okay, by default it will be typically user mode, but for me somehow it is percentage. If in case it is showing percentage, just go to scenario and just say convert the scenario into percentage mode. Now you see you have the quantity. This is the number of virtual users we are talking about, or concurrent users or virtual users that we are talking about. Book flight is what? 25 users. Change this number to 25. Wonderful. And cancel flight is 10 users. Change this number to 10 users. Wonderful. And this register user is 5. Change this number to 5. Wonderful. Okay. Wonderful, Kumar. So we have added this. Now what about the pacing? Okay, the first one is 160, second one is 80, the third one is 72. Spacing is somewhere where you set it from runtime settings. So click on the first group and then go to the runtime settings and go to pacing. And what is the first one? 160. Select the third option and you just say 160. Click on OK. And the second option is what? 80. So click on the second group. Again click on the runtime settings. Go to the pacing. Select the third group. And what is this? Mark it as 80. Okay, and what is the third one? 72. So click on the third group, which is register user. You see register user is 72. Click on the third group. Again click on runtime settings and mark this as 72. Click on OK. Wonderful, guys. Now what is the load generator? Load generator is the local host for me. If you have installed the LoadRunner for your from the community edition on your desktop, it will be localhost typically. Otherwise, your lead will tell you or your organization will tell you what all the local hosts that you have to select. Click on that and you say add, and you will be able to add it if it's not there. But if it's already there, it will show up on your list here. Wonderful. Now you have added all of that. So this is all good. Now you go ahead and save this. We are not done yet. There are a couple of more steps before we say done yet. So save this. Okay, we are doing a load test. We are creating a load test. Okay, so I'll give a date stamp over here. This is 10th. Okay, 21st. Okay, and this is just a naming standards. Okay, don't worry too much about it. Okay, now let me save this on the desktop itself in that folder where it is saying controller. Save it. Okay, wonderful. So are we done yet? No. Are we done yet? No. So we have to define this. We have to define this ramp up, steady state and ramp down. We already discussed option 2 is the preferred one. So we have to define the ramp up, steady state and ramp down. So where do we do it, Kumar? Where do we do it? It's just in the global schedule. It's right here, guys. It's not at all difficult. You initialize all the users before it runs, because that's a good thing to do. And once you initialize, then you start all the virtual users, not simultaneously. We already discussed. We are not going to start them simultaneously. We're not going to start them simultaneously. We're going to start one by one. Okay. So instead of simultaneously, what do? Double click on it. What did I do? Just double click on this line. Automatically this edit action. By the way, here each one is an action. You just don't play around with the initialize. You want to initialize all the users before you want to start. Don't mess around with this action. You wanted to change this action here. Double click on this action, and you wanted to start all the users simultaneously. We have already discussed no. Option 1 is not the point. We go with option 2. So how do you ramp up? How do you start the users? 5 users for every 30 seconds is a good ramp up. Okay. Okay, you see this is hour, this is minute, and this is second. So I said 30 seconds, 5 users for every 30 seconds. What will happen? 5 users will start, then it will wait for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, 5 more users will start, and after 30 seconds, 5 more users will start. Like that, all the users will start. Wonderful. So you have defined the ramp up. And you can clearly see, as I've changed this, the graph have changed here. If you have observed, earlier the graph was one single straight line. Now I have changed this action. Automatically the graph have started. You see, the graph have changed. You see the 5 users have started. It will wait for 30 seconds. 5 more users will start. Wait for 30 seconds. 5 more users will start. Wait for 30 seconds. 5 more users will start. Wait for 30 seconds. Wonderful. So Kumar, here it was where you have shown me it was a single straight line. Here it is like, you know, in the form of steps. I didn't want it to draw steps here, guys, you know, so that's the reason why you are seeing here is the steps here. Actually it will be in the form of a steps only, okay, but I have smoothened the line and I have drawn this ramp up, but it will be in the form of steps only. Okay, how long you want it to run? No, not run until completion. Again, double click on the action to change it. Usually load test run for how many hours? Not one day, but how many hours? 1 hour. You see, hour, minute, second. Wonderful, guys, wonderful. Okay, now as soon as I change that, automatically you see the graph have changed. Okay, let me take away that legend which is causing the problem. You see, that's 1 hour test. If you watch carefully on the timeline, you see it is somewhere over this thing, 1 hour 10 minutes, and then you see this is 10 minutes and it went for 1 hour 10 minutes. This will be exactly 1 hour. Okay, exactly 1 hour. Do you want to stop all the users simultaneously? No. Again, double click on the action. Go over here. Usually 5 users for 15 seconds is a good ramp down. Okay, so I'm telling you the industry standards. You can give any ramp up, any ramp down that you wanted. Okay, so 5 users for every 30 seconds is a good ramp up. 5 users for every 15 seconds is good ramp down. 1 hour is a load test. Wonderful, guys. So we have run it for 1 hour. Now you save it. Your load test is run. Your load test is designed, guys. Congratulations, you have created your first load test. Now all you have to do is click on the run button. Click on the run button from here, or go to the run tab and click from here, and you are good to go and run your load test. Wonderful, guys. So keep watching, and in the next video I'll be telling you how to design your stress test, how to design your scalability test, how to design your endurance test. Okay, good luck, guys. Good luck with your projects, good luck with your interviews, and anybody interested in my trainings, as I've told you, you can just contact me on this number out here, 801-995-2427. WhatsApp me or call me, you can even WhatsApp call me, or not comfortable, just send out an email on this, kgupta.testingtraining@gmail.com. Thank you, guys. See you around, and have a wonderful day ahead.